This week on Channel 8 News, we look at the recent Sigma Society concert for cancer, an evening of English dancing, a recap of Black History Month, and more. Channel 8 News starts right now.
Channel 8 News. I'm Jacob Wood.
And I'm Anastasia Tuttle.
The Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion held and discussed a film about systematic racism and the economic decline in St. Louis. Mitch Bomberger has more on that event. Mitch?
On Wednesday night, there was a film discussion review of the Prewittigoe Myth documentary.
Well, we talked about it very briefly. Public housing is not an option.
I got to sit down with Kevin Rogmick in charge of the movie, and he put in his own words what the Prewittigoe Myth is about.
We watched the Prewittigoe Myth. It's a documentary about a federal housing project on the north side of St. Louis that was called the Prewittigoe Homes. And this building started in the 1950s after the 1948 Housing Act that allowed the federal government to build large-scale, federally subsidized housing for lower-class people to try to clear the slums of the inner cities. But one stipulation in the 1948 Housing Act is that there was no federal funds earmarked for the maintenance of these buildings. After a few years, Prewittigoe really started getting a lot of deferred maintenance and maintenance issues and became almost untenable for the residents, and it became just really a bad situation economically and socially, because the only money that was available for the complex maintenance of these large 10, 11-story buildings had to come from tenant rent, and this is low-cost housing. So there was a need, and there wasn't the money to meet that need. So the maintenance just continued to deteriorate. And finally, after opening in 1954, by 1972, the first 3 of the 33 buildings were imploded. And then by the mid-1970s, the whole 57-acre lot was cleared and the project was completely over. So it had about a 20-year lifespan, but it was a remarkably powerful narrative about issues and problems with large-scale federal housing projects.
After the 90-minute documentary, there was a class discussion about how building these homes were a great idea at first, but after a while there was just no follow-through.
This might be a dumb question, but were the residents not allowed to work for their place to stay? Could they not have been the maintenance? That way it could have been okay.
Maintenance for buildings like that is pretty complicated.
This is Mitch Bomber reporting for Channel 8 News.
Thanks, Mitch.
Last month, the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion and several other multicultural organizations worked hard to put together several events in honor of Black History Month. Channel 8 reporter Bradley Justice takes a look at some of the best moments from Black History Month and what events we can look forward to seeing again next year. Bradley?
As February came to a close, so did the end of Black History Month. But it was a month of guest speakers like Janiyah Khan and Emmanuel Cleaver to outstanding events like Soul Food Dinner and Drop the Mic. Any number of words could describe the outstanding display of events and memories.
Your classes. Know it before you get in there. Do what you're responsible to do.
Channel 8 News got to sit down and speak with Edward Gibson IV on the events of Black History Month.
I think overall, the Black History Month events were great. A lot of people came out to every single event. I just hope that people learned from it. They took something back from it. That's all I hope for.
With a bright-minded speaker like Janiyah Khan.
Can we at least talk about that? The next time that someone says, my boyfriend is black, remind them that having a black boyfriend doesn't mean that you're not racist.
And the creative minds at Drop the Mic night.
And I'm hoping that it grows with ease, and I hope that my leaves will leave a message to see even in the fall and have a call that they just need to see.
We asked Edward which event is coming back and if he has already thought about next year's events.
One of the big hits is the Soul Food Dinner.
Good evening.
So that event is normally going to happen every single year, annually. As far as the Black History Month Planning Committee, then the new ideas that will come from the committee will be something different than what we've seen this year. So I think it'll keep it fresh. It'll be good every single year from here on out.
Careful planning goes into every event and situation. The right food for Soul Food Dinner, the perfect setting for the Drop the Mic, and the perfect speakers for the Students of Color Survival Guide event. We got to sit down with student Tiara Weaver to discuss what she thinks should change for next year's events.
Probably make it more publicized. I think a lot of the advertisements for the events were like just in this office. And I've heard like some people say that they wish they had known about it. So maybe making it more publicized. But other than that, I think they did a great job.
Black History Month was a great month for Northwest. Make sure to keep your schedule cleared for next year's events. This has been Bradley Justice reporting for Channel 8 News.
Thanks, Bradley.
When we come back, we'll have your Northwest event report. Don't go away. Welcome back to Channel 8 News. I'm Jacob Wood.
And I'm Anastasia Tuttle. And this is your Northwest Event Report.
On Thursday, March 9th, from 5 to 7, the Student Senate invites all students to join them in the Student Involvement Center for a canned food drive. Teams of students will be assigned a location in Maryville to collect cans for Northwest Pay It Forward Food Pantry. The winning team will receive a pizza party.
On Thursday, March 9th at 9 p.m., SAC Late Night will be holding one of their biggest events of the semester, Late Night at the Rec. Students are welcome to stop by the Rec Center for games and fun.
On Friday, March 10th at the First Christian Church, Let Us Dream will be holding their Taste-O Green Salad Luncheon fundraiser. The luncheon will be from 11 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Donations are encouraged.
Also on Friday, March 10th from 3 to 4:30, the Oak Point Assisted Living and Memory Care Center will be holding a chef showcase featuring the residents' recipes.
Friday evening, Northwest Association of Black Employees will be hosting its inaugural scholarship banquet. The event will be at 6 p.m. in the Ron Housen Center for the Performing Arts. Tickets are $50 a person, and proceeds will go to the Association of Black Employees Scholarship Fund.
Saturday, March 11th at 7 p.m., the Office of Student Involvement and SAC will be sponsoring an encore performance of the Philharmonics. This group was featured on the Sing-Off and made an appearance in Pitch Perfect 2. The event will be in the Maryland Theater in the Ron Houston Center. Tickets are free but required for the event. That's all for your Northwest Event Report. When we come back, we'll look at stories that matter to you. Welcome back to Channel 8 News. I'm Anastasia Tuttle.
And I'm Jacob Wood. Last week, Jackie Harding had the opportunity to take a look at an evening of English country dancing. Jackie has more on the event. Jackie?
Last Friday night, English country dancing took place in the Horace Mann Gymnasium. Jerome Grisanti was the leader of the dance. English country dancing has been around for hundreds of years and is related to the Jane Austen novels.
English country dancing is a form of folk dancing that developed in England about 400 years ago or more. The first book that was a collection of English dances was published in 1691. But they weren't all invented in 1691. And they didn't stop inventing them after 1691. So a fellow named John Playford published these dances, and the publication was essentially, you can tell the way he's written it, is that these are just sort of aids to memory. It's just sort of assume that you've seen them danced and that you've danced them, and you just have to remember, oh yeah, this comes before that in the dance called the female sailor, this happens and then this happens, and that's the order of the dance. But you would have seen how it was done, or you would have known how it was done. You would have been to dances and seen these things happen.
Several types of English dancing took place that night. Participants began arriving at 6:30 to learn dances before the event took place at 7.
Well, there's any number of ways to describe it. One is that the dancers, led by the caller, which is me, walked through a number of dances. Well, walked through a dance, and then we started the music and we danced it. And then after a little break, we reformed our sets, and I taught them another dance, and then we danced it.
Jerome elaborates more on the history of English country dancing, which is also referred to as folk dancing. This type of dancing occurs in sets, so several people are needed.
So there was, in England, a courtly style of dance, which would include minuets and so forth. Gavottes, you may be familiar with some of these through music history. And then there were the folk styles of dance, which were much less formal. And what happened is the courtly people decided, oh, let's do one of those country dances. And that's, those are the dance forms. So what we do here are not, they may seem stately in a way, but they're not couples dances in that same way. They're set dances. It's a group of people coming together to make the dance happen.
English country dancing is a great way to learn more about past history types of folk dances. Jerome Grisante plans to call more dances in the future. This has been Jackie Harding reporting for KNWT Channel 8.
Thanks, Jackie.
Sigma Society recently held a concert to benefit the American Cancer Society, featuring local artists. Tyler Jones has more on the event. Tyler?
Last weekend, the Ron Housen Center hosted Sigma Society Tunes Out Cancer, a benefit concert put on by the organization with all proceeds going to the American Cancer Society. We spoke with the service co-chairman of Sigma Society, Jeannie Schleip, to learn more.
We wanted to bring a unique activity to benefit the American Cancer Society, get a lot of people out for a great cause. Our goal tonight is to hopefully raise over $3,000 for the American Cancer Society.
Performers included R&B artist Rita Vine, country artist Tyler Folkers, rock band Hereafter, and rap group GGE. We went on to speak with members of GGE about their personal experience with the performance.
So it was good to just be able to be back, you know what I'm saying, to actually perform the music and to have them invite us, you know what I'm saying, to a show, and for a good cause as well too. Shout out to Sigma Society, you know what I'm saying, for setting up this whole event and then bringing all these people out and executing it really well, you know what I'm saying. I really do appreciate this, and that's pretty much it for me. I'm just extremely grateful.
And they asked us to come out here, and it was for a great cause, and of course we couldn't say no to that. And
yes,
coming back
exactly.
to Northwest was awesome too. I haven't been here in a couple of years.
And this was like one of our most official shows. It was really good. It's like in the next level for us.
It's been a great time here in Northwest. You know, once a Bearcat, always a Bearcat.
Reporting for Channel 8 News, this has been Tyler Jones.
Thanks, Tyler.
Northwest students looking to stay on campus will have one less housing option next fall. Franken Hall will be closed for the 2017-18 academic school year. Maureen Proxel has more on that story. Maureen?
Students living on campus next year will notice one of the residence halls will be standing empty. Franken Hall will be closed after the end of the current school year. Lower overall university enrollment has resulted in less demand for student housing. Assistant Vice President of Student Affairs and Auxiliary Services Rose View says that Franken was the best option in terms of hall closing.
Well, when you look at work orders and the maintenance needs of different halls around campus, Franken is probably the best choice. And so Milliken and Dietrich, in terms of high rises, are in better condition than Franken. And then the other buildings are all newer. And so we're really looking at condition of the building is the reason we picked Franken.
Some students had already made room selections.
We currently had 43 students that were signed up on the second floor of Franken just because we've been doing upper class room selection over the last couple months.
Those who were assigned to move into Franken Hall this August will be placed in either Tower Suites or South Complex. Students who have already signed up for Franken Hall housing will not be charged higher housing rates for that first year. While there is enough room for other buildings to take in Franken's residents, Fuse says that these other two buildings will be a bit fuller than in past years. Fuse says that the university is working on a master plan that will be decided in June.
And so what that does is it plans out the future for renovating buildings or possibly knocking something down and building new. We haven't decided on that kind of thing yet. And so that'll guide us for the next number of years on what to do with facilities and how to make places better and renovate.
It is not certain whether Franken's closing will be temporary or permanent. With KNWT Channel 8 News, I'm Maureen Proxel.
Thanks, Maureen. When we come back, we take a look at some national headlines. Don't go away. Welcome back to Channel 8 News. I'm Jacob Wood.
And I'm Anastasia Tuttle. A police chase ends with a flying truck. A volcano puts on a light show, and an ultrasound shows a baby that'll be ready to rock when he arrives. Jeremy Roth has CNN's Today's Take a Look at This.
A police chase in rural Louisiana ended with a stolen truck going airborne. The driver was Kivante Decore Austin, a work release participant. Austin led police on a chase reaching speeds of up to 115 miles per hour. He lost control of the vehicle after hitting spike strips at a roadblock, and the truck landed on a parked car with a woman inside. Miraculously, she escaped unharmed by taking cover in the passenger seat, which was the only part of the car not crushed by the flying truck. A volcano in Sicily came back to life in a stunning nighttime pyrotechnic display. Mount Etna is considered one of the world's most active volcanoes, but it has been largely free of eruptions for 2 years. That changed on February 27th as bright orange lava began spewing from its peak. Despite the impressive fiery display, authorities say the eruption posed no threat to nearby towns. And finally, a surreal sonogram for an expectant couple in Utah gives new meaning to the term rockabye baby. The couple posted the ultrasound image of their baby giving what appears to be the universal rock-on hand gesture. Skeptics will surely cry Photoshop, but local media reports the couple has original copies to back it up. The proud parents included a comment on the post saying their new addition isn't even here yet, but he or she is already the coolest. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
It's the app based on vanishing messages, but can Snapchat make a more lasting impression? Snap is preparing to go public. Samuel Burke from our CNN affiliate goes through the numbers.
Now that any of us can own a piece of Snapchat with about a $20 billion valuation, it's the logical time for me to snap as many indoor extreme sports as possible. This is the biggest social media IPO since Twitter. Unfortunately for Snapchat, we now know it only has about 158 million daily users. Twitter is estimated to have about the same, and they've been pummeled on the stock market. And Facebook, 1.2 billion users. Now, even though Snapchat is still growing, it's actually adding fewer and fewer users each month. Some think the slowdown could be the result of Facebook rolling out a Snapchat copycat feature called Instagram Stories. On top of that, it's hemorrhaging cash to the tune of $500 million a year. And if you think that's gonna change anytime soon, we have incurred operating losses in the past, expect to incur operating losses in the future, and may never achieve or maintain profitability. That's not coming from me. That's straight from Snapchat documents. Let's just say they're keeping expectations low. On the plus side, Snapchat is one of the biggest social networks in the world, and they have a young demographic advertisers love. And they do bring in some cash from video ads, sponsored location-based filters like this taco face from Taco Bell, and sales from these spectacles, which allow you to record snaps here instead of on your phone. There are some quirks that come along with Snapchat. They have no official headquarters, and Evan Spiegel, the CEO and co-founder of the company, already one of the youngest self-made billionaires in the world, well, if something happens to him, his supermodel fiance could become a major player in the company. Investors say they're cautious about this one, but with so few tech IPOs out there these days, they're willing to take some risk, hoping their investment doesn't disappear as quickly as a snap.
That was Samuel Burke reporting.
A dog in Pennsylvania has mastered sneaking out of his house. As Matt Perello reports, the canine even did it twice in 1 hour. It had to be rescued by firefighters.
I just came home and he usually is at the front door, at the window waiting. And the next thing you know, I come home and I open the door. I go, Maverick, where are you? And next thing he comes running down the steps. And I said, oh no, what's he doing up there?
This is the 45-pound Siberian Husky named Maverick who managed to open a window, kick out the screen, and then climb onto the roof of this house on Enterprise Street in Nanticoke, all while his owner, Kristen, was running errands. It prompted neighbors to call for help.
Anything's possible. Like anything can happen here doing this job.
Very friendly, very, very friendly. Beautiful dog, so it was very easy to course him back inside.
Kristen says this happened before.
We got him from a lady and she said he's a magician. He did that to her before.
He's like a four-legged Houdini.
Yes, he is. Yes.
But what has not happened before is Maverick walking onto the roof twice in an hour while Kristen was away, prompting more calls for help to the Nanticoke Fire Department.
It seemed impossible, but not surprising. We pulled up and there was the dog. It was sitting on the porch roof just looking at us.
Yeah, I was gone about an hour. I didn't even know that.
Oh, you didn't know they came twice?
No. No.
Kristen plans to lock her windows when she leaves. She appreciates the Nanticoke Fire Department coming to rescue her dog, Maverick, twice. Well, that's all the time we have for this week. For more information on stories that matter to you, like us on Facebook at /Watch Channel 8 News or follow us on Twitter at KNWT 8 News.
Cat Chat is up next, and from all of us here at Channel 8 News, I'm Jacob Wood.
And I'm Anastasia Tuttle. Have a good night.